And here we go. It's the G.I. Joe Classified Series Cobra Viper Officer and Vipers 3-pack. And there's the back of it. We got the officer's the one in gray, and then the two regular Vipers, and then you can see a picture of the three figures and their pack out, and all the weapons they come with. Now, I got a confession to make. This isn't going to be a typical unboxing because I was so curious about how this packaging worked that I just started opening it and wasn't really thinking too much about it. So the figures are actually already out of the package. Now, I did realize this and stopped myself when I got to what I figure the accessories are in. This is one of those stupid plasticless packages that Hasbro's working on, and basically their three figures were kind of packed into this thing. Sorry, a bag stuck to that. And you can see where their feet would have went into these three little holes, and they were held in with this cardboard. And it seems to me like there's just more stuff to throw away than there would be otherwise if they did just kept a plastic package. And you know, like I say, some people like to keep the figures in the package and display the figures that way, but it's impossible to do with this because, as you saw, it was a solid box. I don't know why this thing's popping up. Just go away and leave me alone. So, yeah, I already took out the figures because I was trying to figure out how the whole packaging system works. So here's two of them right here, and then there's the third one. And they all seem to me to be the same exact sculpt, just painted differently. And they are three unique figures, even though there's two regular Vipers. And what we can see is that when we take off the scarf, which really is the best way to get a look at the only bit of flesh on these figures, is that this guy has brown skin at his neck, and this guy has Caucasian skin at his neck. So one of these officers, or one of these Vipers is a white guy, and one of them is a black guy. So I guess he could be like Middle Eastern or Indian or something like that. But that's some really dark skin, so I'm thinking black guy. But you know, you could really imagine he's whatever you want. Now, when I checked the officer, so I know you're wondering about that now. When I checked the officer, he had Caucasian flesh. But I believe that that's a separate piece. It's in the middle, like most of these G.I. Joe classified necks are. So if you wanted to do a black Cobra officer, it would not be too difficult to pop out the neck joint and pop the brown skin one into the middle, and then voila, you would have a black Cobra Viper officer. So if you want the black guy to be the leader of your team, that's how you do it. So yeah, the figures themselves are pretty good. And like I said, I do believe that these are the same exact sculpts, just painted differently. And this guy is in a slightly darker version of Cobra blue. And he's got a lot of the iconic elements of the Viper that we can see, like the faceplate and the arm guards. And the pants leg is really weird because I'm pretty sure that that it's not supposed to be on the inside and the outside both. I think it's just supposed to be on the inside. So I don't know why they did it that way. It's very strange to me. So, you know, whatever. We can see he's got a holster, and I hope he has a knife sheath on here somewhere. Didn't they come with knives? I don't see any knives, so I guess no knife sheath. But he's got a pistol holster and some backpacks and stuff like that. Let's go ahead and open up the accessories. If I can figure out how to do that. It looks like it opens at the ends, which to me is kind of irritating because that means I'm going to have to kind of dig them out of the box like it's a Pringles can or something, or just dump them out or something like that. I'd rather it opened at the top, you know, and then I'd have a little more room to dig around, but it's like that's how we're going to have to do this. Oh, they're wrapped up in paper. Like, they can't even be wrapped up in plastic. Oh my god, the tape's made out of plastic. You're going to destroy the environment. Look, this cardboard's taped together. They shouldn't have put that piece of cardboard in there at all. All this is just garbage. I guess it's technically padding or something, but... Oh my god, more of this plastic tape. Hasbro's destroying the environment. Oh my god. So horrible. I think there might be something in here, like some rifles or something. Yeah, there's something stuck in between there. I thought it was just packing, but there actually is something stuck in between there. It always pays to check. But this seems to me like it'd be a lot more crap to put in the landfill than like the little baggies I'm used to Mattel putting their packaging into. Or putting their weapons into. Oh man. This is just going to be so much work. Alright. So I'm opening all these up. Taking out whatever's in them. I'm being really careful not to spill them. How irritating. Alright, so there is another rifle. Man. I don't like this at all. This is like the worst packaging. I'd rather deal with plastic tabs than deal with this. This is annoying. Could you shut up? Alright. So then we got two of these rifles. Which this seems to be the one that's more of an homage to the, well, I guess this one's more of an homage to the vintage Cobra Viper with the grenade launcher and everything. So. But these still feel kind of Viper-ish. These look more like pulse rifles or something like that. If you look at the way the barrels are done at the end. I don't know if those are based off of Nerf guns or not. Alright, let's see what else is in here. Alright, is that everything? I have to peek down like I'm looking into a pirate telescope to make sure I got everything out of there. Ugh. This makes me think like I'm opening Chinese food. Now I'm getting hungry because it reminds me of like the little paper bags that like, you know, egg rolls are packed in at the Chinese restaurant. It is a little bag. Ugh. It's horrible. Okay, so I had to dump all this out. I still didn't get all of it. So here, in the palm of my hand, we got a bunch of pew-pews, and we got the goggles. So I'm going to set these goggles aside, because we're going to look at those next. And then I'm going to try to dump this on my table without spilling any of it. There's a lot of stuff that like is awkward because of this packaging for me to show you, because I had to dump all this into my hand. But here's the pistol. Seems like a pretty typical classified pistol. And then we got a silencer, suppressor, whatever you want to call that. Lots of different pew-pews. There's a nice looking gun with some red detailing on it. It looks kind of brown, but I think that's just because it's red paint over black. And I think it is indeed supposed to be red. Then this pistol again. So I'm guessing the cool looking pistol will go with the officer, and the two typical classifieds will go with the enlisted men. So there's a couple of pew-pews. They look kind of like red and orange icicles. I don't know if those are identical. I don't think they are. This one kind of curves up a little bit, so I think it just got warped in the packaging. Which, to be fair, could happen in any kind of packaging. It's not necessarily like because of this plastic-free crap. Alright, so there's one where it kind of explodes outwards. This looks more like it could be like an impact. Like you could put this on a figure to signify that he got shot, almost. But we'll figure all these out. This one's kind of a cross one. Kind of reminds me of the flare on RoboCop's pistol. Maybe that's an homage. And this one kind of explodes outwards. And then this one is several shots. Like you can imagine him firing several shots in a row. And then we have a little wisp of smoke as if he just fired his gun. And this one looks like, to me, like it would work really well on the suppressor. And this thing. So we'll set all those aside. Looking at the box, it looks like you can put a lot of these together. So that's pretty cool. See, like it looks like he's got lots of them put together on the back there. Alright. There's just so much packaging with this. Like, I really think there'd be less packaging if they just put it in the plastic. And there are biodegradable types of plastic you can use if you really care that much about it. But I don't think that'd be really good for collectors either, because then stuff would start melting on their shelves, wouldn't it? That would be bad. At least I can put them all in this bag. All these little worthless cardboard things. So this one looks like it's going to be the backpacks. So I think that's all that's left anyway, is the backpacks. Just tear this shit open. This is not a show for kids. Alright, so there's the backpack. I'm imagining that these are also going to... Alright, so when I went to put the X-Acto knife on the table, it slipped out of my hand and it knocked some of these pew-pews over. So I'm probably not going to be able to show them all now, because they all got knocked on the floor. And looks like some of them went underneath my ottoman. I guess I better grab my X-Acto knife in case I need that again. Plus, it's usually not good to leave razor-sharp objects on the floor, in general. That's irritating. So, I'll dig around a little bit, see if I can find any. I'm pretty sure some of them got knocked on the floor, but at least I already showed them to you, like, separately. But I'll try to put some together and see how they look. Anyway, so yeah, the backpacks, I want to look at the two for the regular Vipers. Those do look to be identical. I don't see any real differences between them anyway. Got some grenades on there, and a rope, and a Cobra emblem. Lots of pouches. Pretty cool. And the officer looks to be the same sculpt, only it's painted differently. Probably wore a match the officer's color scheme. So then we got 3 pairs of these goggles, and 2 of them have silver lenses, and 1 of them has gold lenses. So obviously that's going to be the one that's going to go on our officer. And is it going to go on him right? It doesn't seem to want to fit on there very snugly. I don't know if that's just because, like, I'm being kind of ginger about it and don't want to stretch it out or what. But it doesn't seem to want to stay on there very well. It could, like I said, just be that I'm not doing something right. But I'm pushing it on there, like, all the way to the ridge that you can see that goes around his head. And it's not wanting to stay on there. So I'm probably just going to wind up just kind of lightly gluing them on with some super glue. That way, like, in case I do want to remove them for whatever reason, it should be pretty easy to remove them, but I don't want them falling off. So maybe just like a little itty bitty drop at the back, maybe not even a drop, maybe just like apply it with like a toothpick or something. Maybe a little bit at the front, and just kind of get it together that way. So I'm not really going to bother to leave the goggles on there right now, since they're probably just going to fall off anyway. Let's see if the silver ones fit on the blue ones any better. Yeah, maybe a little bit. But still, I'd feel a lot better gluing them on before I do anything else with them. Let's go ahead and put the pistols in the holsters. And like I said, these look to be kind of like the standard sort of classified pistols and holsters we've seen like a million times. So I figure those are going to go in there just fine. Voila. And like I said, I'll give those pistols to the regulars. And this bad mamma jamma, that's going with the officer. And that fits into there snugly and nicely. So let's see with these weapons. Since this one is unique, I'm supposing this is the one that's supposed to go with the officer. But on the back of the package, it shows one of the regular Cobra troops with this rifle. And but to me, it makes more sense that, like, if you've got two guys who are dressed identically and one guy who's dressed differently and has a different backpack and different colored goggles, if there's a different rifle, he should probably have the different rifle. And if you think about, like, the regular Cobra troopers and uh, the regular Cobra officer, you know, the blue guys, they both had different rifles, because the trooper would have the sniper rifle and the officer would have the AK-47. I feel like it should have been the other way around, but that's just me. So the officer is going to get this one, which, like I said, seems to be like an homage to the original Cobra Viper rifle. It's not identical, obviously, but it looks pretty close. I believe that Gridiron Studios is working on a Cobra Viper rifle. If not working on it, they've already completed it. But yeah, he's got like really tall boots. The knee pads are kind of vaguely Cobra shaped, which I like. Like it's kind of, it's not like he's got like actual Cobra shaped knee pads, but they're kind of like subtly, subconsciously shaped like a Cobra, like the hooded Cobra, you know. Got the Cobra emblem on his belt buckle. Got one there on his vest, although it's kind of obscured by the scarf right now. He's got the classic Cobra arm bracers like the Viper had. Yeah, and then the helmet is, of course, very similar to the classic Cobra Viper helmet that we all remember from when we were kids. It also has that kind of swept forward look of the helmet, where the helmet kind of sweeps forward over the faceplate, like the standard Cobra Commander has. So that's pretty cool. Uh, he has a gray uniform instead of a blue uniform, and a red vest instead of a black vest. So a lot of the red detailing on this is black on this for that very reason. But you can see that, like, on this one, the whole straps are colored in red, and this one is just the you know, kind of the snaps that would hold the pouches closed. And his grenades are red, which is a good color for grenades, because you want people to be able to see them well, right? So articulation, you know, pretty standard of the G.I. Joe classified. Arms go all the way around this way. They come up about yay far. Bicep swivel goes all the way around. Although it is kind of sticking on that shoulder joint a little bit. Got the double jointed elbows. Wrist goes all the way around. And it looks like, is it an up and down or a side to side movement on this one? Looks like it's an up and down, which I prefer on a military figure. Superheroes, I don't really care, but on the military guys, I kind of feel like that gives you a more realistic grip. They can hold the weapons better. So I'm imagining he could hold this one pretty well if I could get him to grip the grenade launcher. But like typically with these G.I. Joe classified, their hands are kind of more stiff than they need to be. But he can hold it pretty well. I think if I turned his head so he's facing in the right direction, it doesn't quite cock in, you know, fit in. The shoulder stock doesn't quite fit in as well as I would like, but mainly that's because, you know, the vest is kind of bulky. But if you haven't posed on a shelf just right, you won't be able to tell. So, and then this big old rifle, we'll give it to this guy. I don't know which one this is, if it's the black guy or the white guy, but it doesn't really matter. So, he's got one of these things where, like, the stock attaches back into the grip, and that makes it always harder to get these into the hands. Like it's, you know, as far as I'm concerned anyway. This just isn't a very good angle on this. I'm just going to push this back a little further. So, if I can get his thumb to wrap around it, there we go. And he does have an extra grip at the front that he can grab a hold of. And that actually fits in really nicely. That looks good. I like that. So this is a good rifle, even though like it's a little more sort of science fiction-y. I think it's, you know, a nice mean looking rifle, and fits in his hands pretty well. So I do like that one. Alright, so we got one more of these rifles to try out, and that's this one. That one also has a forward grip, so that's cool. So this one seems like it'll be the easiest to get in his hands because it's got a grip at the front and it doesn't have that weird sort of thing where the actual, you know, handle of the gun attaches back to the stock in that weird sort of way. So he'll get this one. And that looks really cool, doesn't it? Maybe if I have him facing the right way, that would be better. But yeah. Kind of angle it in towards the chest. There we go. And just for fun, I'm going to put the goggles on him real quick so you get the full effect. So that's not bad. Let's see how well the backpacks fit in. Sometimes the backpacks and the vests don't line up just right, and sometimes these can be a little loose on Hasbro. But it seems like this one's on him pretty well. It's not going to fall off. So yeah, this is a good set to buy if you want an army build, because it's going to get you 3 more figures that you can have in your Cobra army. I'm on the record, I think, as saying that I like the standard blue troops a little bit better than the Vipers, because they just seem more like classic Cobra to me. But I do like the Vipers, and I'm happy to have these to kind of beef up my Cobra army a little bit. Right now I've got 2 of the regular Cobra troopers and 2 of the officers, and I would probably like to have more of either one of them, but these guys will be like a good sort of backup army. I kind of feel like the Cobra, the regular Cobra troopers and officers, they're a little more versatile in terms of what purposes I can give them, and this guy is just straight up a combat troop. So in my mind, the Vipers, like this guy, these are almost kind of like the Cobra equivalent of like a Green Beret or something. These are special forces. So, and the other guys are more like kind of like standard Cobra army. That's just kind of how I do that. So, anyway, I guess that's pretty much it. I'm not going to fool with the pew-pews right now because, like I said, I knocked some of them in the floor, and I want to try to pick those up before I do anything else. I do kind of want to look at this, is that going to, I don't know if the silencer is going to fit in that. I was hoping it would mainly fit into the pistol here for the officer. Let's see if that'll fit. It's a little snug, but it goes in there. So there we go. And then because I thought that one was a good one for the silencer, at least that gets you to demonstrate how these things work. I like that. Anyway, I guess that's pretty much it for this one. If you enjoyed it, please like and subscribe and all the fun YouTube stuff down below. Let me know what you think about this 3-pack and what, you know, if you think it's worth the price. I kind of figure, you know, it's 3 figures and it's a pretty good deal, I guess. Like, I think they probably could have made it a little cheaper, but, you know, whatever. Anyway, we'll talk to you next time. Bye.